Hello, everybody. This is Dave Wallace, coming to you from my home here in Wahiawa, Hawaii. And we have a change of scenery for this time. What you're looking at right now are Australian tree ferns, and these were imported to Hawaii by my wife's uncle, Hiroshi Tagami, and it's growing in our backyard. And below them, you can see some anthuriums anthuriums back there, and also some orchids. Okay, so welcome to Talk Story Time. Okay, today I'm going to be sharing with you a second incident that I went through and experienced in near that, not near that, past life. Okay, so this is an experience in past life, and this one brought things really close to home. And when I began my meditation, the first thing that we do is look at our feet. And when I looked down at my feet, I noticed they were feet of an adult, and I was wearing sandals. And the sandals were there were straps. I could see the straps running across my feet, and I lifted up my foot, and I could see the underneath. It's so almost like slippers, but they had straps to keep my foot attached to this, so they were sandals. As I worked my way up and started looking at my private area, I noticed I wasn't wearing that much clothes. And the only thing that I had was a cloth, a piece of cloth that was covering my private parts. And it had designs on it that looked very similar to these designs that I have here on my shirt. Okay. And as I looked at it and felt it, it felt very familiar, and I realized I was touching kappa. Okay, and the kappa itself was brown, and the markings, the designs were black. Some of it had red and yellows there, but uh, was mostly brown. So um, this automatically took me to made me realize that I was a Polynesian. Okay, and Polynesian wearing a malo, and I looked around me. The next thing I do is look around to see the environment that we're at, and as I looked around, I found myself on a double hull canoe, a va'akaulua, and this va'akaulua was just over 30 feet long, and there were many people on there. In fact, it was pretty crowded. There were over 30 people on there, and just packed together. And I was wondering why everybody was packed together, and they looked sad and frightened and crying. And so I looked around and to find out why were these people crying and why was I feeling sad. And as I looked towards land, I spotted land, and I noticed that there were fires going on, huge fires. And I realized that uh, perhaps we were fleeing a battle that had just taken place, and we were running away to save our lives. And we were on these canoes. Now, we had all sorts of canoes. We had va'akauluas, we had single hull canoes, outrigger canoes, dugout canoes that was just made and hurriedly made, and people were fleeing. They were running for their lives. And the person that was the captain or steering our canoe seemed to be the leader, a leader. And he told us to, not to worry. He was trying to keep us calm. And a lot of people were asking, "Where are we going?" And he just pointed to his left. He says, "We went there." And so people saying, "Is this where we're going?" And stuff. Is it a safe place? Have you been there before? And all he could say is, "The safe place is there." And right then, when he was doing that, it reminded me of being a remote viewer and being able to sense where certain things are. And he was doing exactly that. He was saying, "We're there. Let's go this way." Okay, and everybody just trusted him. And I said, "Okay, let's go." Now, um, this trip was hurriedly put together. So, as far as provisions, we were not well provisioned. There wasn't that much food. Things were just gathered and thrown into the canoe. We did have some food. There was pigs, there was dogs, there's chickens and stuff like that, but they were kept under the hulls. And we did bring some coconuts and some water, and but I knew it wasn't going to last that long. So fast forward along the way, while we were going out, we weren't moving that fast. Like, as far as the winds seemed to not favor us that much, so the trip was really slow. And because the trip was slow, people began to complain. I know I felt hunger pangs, and I was thirsty all the time. And we didn't have. I knew we were running out of supplies, and the older people and the weaker people, a couple of them died, and it was expected in a way on a journey such as this, but they started dying, and the older and the younger and the weaker was dying. And one of the things I realized as I was trying to help, um, we were fishing, we were trying to catch fish, and although we were catching fish, it was not enough to feed everybody. And there are other canoes that would come over and ask for provisions too, and we tried to share with them. And eventually, the other canoes, decided to leave and go out on their own. And they didn't have faith in our leader, so they went off on their own. And so we're left with one canoe, and 30 to 35 people eventually dwindled down to about 10 of us. Okay, and by the time it came down to 10 of us, it was difficult to manage the canoe. We could get the sails up if we wanted. We're weak, we're just famished. And I remember um, that there were so many times that I prayed and asked God and my ancestors to take me because I was suffering so much. But the answer came. He said, "No, boy, we're almost there. Don't give up. Don't give up. Hang in there." And sure enough, what seemed to be months that we were out on the ocean, we finally spotted land, and we were able to steer the canoe to land. And when we got there, there were people settled on the land. The lands were it was basically flat, and they were atolls, and so they were flat. They did have coconut trees and some shrubbery, and people were living there already. But as soon as we came on shore, the people welcomed us and gave us food and nursed us back to health. So that was my experience there, and this is a lifetime that I ended up. After that one experience of being on the ocean for a long time and being able to reach where I was, I had a pretty good memory on how to get back to home and where home was. And so, after spending several years on this atoll and some of the neighboring atolls, there's a chain of tiny atolls there, and would visit and stay, move from place to place. When the resources of one atoll ran out, we moved to the next one, and that's how we were able to survive there. Anyway, eventually, as I became much older and commanded more respect, the canoe still managed to survive the time and the wear, and I was able to sail back home and eventually made it back to the islands that I originated from. And by the time we went back, um, my family, that survived the war, they recognized who I was, and we rejoined the rest of the group. For me, I had a strong feeling that we were somewhere near the Marquesas Islands, and some of the islands that we ended up settling were probably somewhere around there. Okay, and so that was my experience for this past life. As I try to um, evaluate this past life to see um, what's the main message or lesson I learned from this past life, um, I felt that um, the most important lesson was don't give up, never give up. And even though you feel that you're ready to throw in the towel, just last one more day. Just go another day. Go that extra mile. Stay, hang on, and you will be rewarded. And for me, I guess that's why I'm so tenacious. I never give up on stuff. Okay. Anyway, I hope you folks enjoyed this story. And if any of you out there are interested in experiencing this experiment that I've been going on, it's a formal process. It's a three-part process that I can guide you folks through. And contact me here and give me contact information if you're interested. Okay. Anyway, um, until next time, this is Dave Wallace from Waihoa, Hawaii, saying mahalo for watching and take care and aloha.